Hello, class, and welcome to South Carolina Social Studies once again. This topic is a review, and hopefully, it will help you for your quiz tomorrow. Exploration and conquest is what we're talking about, Unit 1, Lesson 1.3. So, first up, we have a map of the Renaissance or exploration during the Renaissance, and there were advances in technology like map making, the compass, and astronomy. So please refer to your notes on those. Renaissance and exploration, advances in technology made it easier for sailors to sail and explore the world. Map making, compass, and astronomy. Also, the Catholic Church and the Protestant Reformation made it more advantageous to explore the New World as well. Remember, we talked a lot about the split in the Catholic Church because of the Protestant Reformation. And Henry VIII established the Church of England, successfully breaking away from Catholicism. He established the Anglican Church or the Church of England because he couldn't get a divorce. Remember that story. Up next, we have trade with China. Trade with China, India, and other parts of Asia. So the sailors were looking for a shorter route to get to these areas to be able to trade. Christopher Columbus. He wanted to find a shorter route for sailing to Asia. He got funding from the King and Queen of Spain. And he promised to convert people that he met to the Catholic religion. Again, they were going for God, gold, and glory. And soon after Columbus's voyages, other European leaders wanted to establish colonies in the New World. So still dealing with Spain. Spain was the first European country to establish colonies in the New World. The Spanish explorers and conquistadors or conquerors claimed large areas of Central and South America, setting up encomiendas or large plantations. Disease and overwork decimated or killed the native population once they got into these encomiendas. And the Spanish brought African slaves. They were the first people to bring African slaves to the New World to work the plantations and mines. Up next, some more about New Spain. They were searching for gold. In their search for gold, Spanish extended their land into North America into parts of Florida, South Carolina, and southwestern United States. New France. The French sailed down the St. Lawrence River, remember that again is up towards Canada, in search of a northwest passage and claimed the region for France. The settlements established were at Montreal and Quebec. Remember, they speak French. French traders established trade with natives, yet they treated the natives poorly. They built settlements along the Mississippi River and named the land Louisiana after King Louis XIV of France. Okay, so that's New France. And we're going to take a look at a map here so you can notice where the British claimed land, the French claimed land, the Spanish claimed land, and then there were Russian claims on the New World as well. Spanish explorers. Francisco Gordillo was one of the first Europeans to explore South Carolina. In 1521, he sailed from Hispaniola, or Haiti and Dominican Republic, to South Carolina. He invited natives on his ship, and he enslaved them. One was Francisco Chicora. That was a name given to a native captive who converted to Catholicism, learned to speak Spanish, and he actually visited Spain, so it made it more attractive for them to go over and be missionaries in the New World. Right, the first Spanish settlement in South Carolina, the first settlement was San Miguel de Gualdape. Lucas Vasquez de Leon created the first Spanish settlement in South Carolina, called San Miguel de Gualdape, along the Waccamaw River near present-day Georgetown. 600 settlers came and African slaves were there, but many died from malaria. Internal rebellion was plaguing them, Indian attacks, and they had a slave rebellion. So they returned to Hispaniola. So you see the route there on the map that's on the side. This is a map of present-day South Carolina that kind of shows you where San Miguel would have been historically. There was a French settlement called Charles Fort. So the person that started that was John Ribault, and he tried to build a settlement for the Huguenots, or the French Protestants, near present-day Beaufort. They named it Charles Fort in honor of the king. This settlement failed as well for various reasons, which you can read in your textbook and find out other ways. Remember, these were the people that ended up being cannibals. All right, and here is a map of where Charles Fort and Santa Elena would have been, along with the expeditions of those different explorers. Also, here's a present day map of South Carolina, and the area we call Charles Fort and Santa Elena are actually on Parris Island. So you can see that there on this map. So Santa Elena was the next Spanish settlement. It was built near the site of Charles Fort. Santa Elena was a struggling Spanish settlement at first, but it eventually grew. The settlers relied on local natives for food because poor soil made farming difficult. Of course, they treated the natives pretty poorly, and a force of 500 natives attacked the settlement, forcing the Spanish to flee. So they left. Right. Eventually, English privateers and explorers in the area forced Spain to abandon Santa Elena, opening the door for English to take South Carolina. Right, so now we have the European claims on the New World in the 1700s, yet again, the British areas in the pink, the French in the purple, the Spanish are in that blue color, and we have disputed territory that's up in the northwest. All right, make sure you know this map. Hernando de Soto, visited South Carolina, and we can see here his route through the southeast. So he led an expedition up through Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. He encountered the Cofitachichi people. I always laugh when I say that. They're Native Americans, and they were very hospitable. They gave him pearls, but of course they were looking for what? Gold. So he ended up raiding or decimating graves, trying to find more treasure, and he actually kidnapped Lady Cofitachichi. She escaped, and he continued on his journey throughout the southeast, and that's how we know so much about the Woodlands people. So again, you want to make sure you study for your quiz and go back through your notes. There are 2 questions that you'll need to answer to on the desk.